What's up, everybody? Tuesday, June 3rd. Matt Kelly, Matty Reiser, WrestleMats here with you. Just 4 short days, Matty, before we take in WWE's next PLE, one of the big four, as I refer to it, Money in the Bank. You ready, buddy?
Oh, back in the saddle, WrestleMats, and we got Money in the Bank. Shorty, what you think? I'm pumped, dude. This is awesome. Like you said, big time PLE here.
Yeah, big time PLE. And, I did some more thinking on that. By the way, hope you're joining us over live as we typically do, Facebook, YouTube, and we are on X tonight as well at WrestleMats. Find us there. Join us each and every Tuesday night as we typically do. But, Matty, I was thinking a little bit more about that last week when I said that maybe Money in the Bank has overtaken some of these other PLEs in terms of just like where it ranks, in terms of like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, the traditional SummerSlam, Survivor Series, things like that. And the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, maybe it is just the concept of the match, Money in the Bank itself. So that I'm so drawn to, and that makes it feel like the show is so much bigger and more important because of like what it means to whoever wins Money in the Bank. So for you, do you feel like Money in the Bank should just be a match stacked somewhere throughout the year? Maybe it goes back to WrestleMania, or maybe it's at one of the other big four pay-per-views, or do you like it as its own event?
Back and forth. I love it at WrestleMania. It gives that kind of big time feel to it, especially with it being 2 nights. You get the men's, women's on different nights. Man, that would add a lot.
Okay.
But at the same time, you already have your WrestleMania moments, things like that. So if you're getting this in June, I mean, this is kind of a halfway point to the Royal Rumble.
Right.
So I get both thought processes. You could say there's too many gimmick PLEs, but I think this one, like we had talked earlier about how I'm a big King of the Ring fan, leads to a championship chance. And that's what I love about this briefcase is you get a title shot whenever you want. So to me, I'm all about surprises, intrigue. I think I can see both sides.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going, because to your point, right, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, they all kind of have their own things. They all kind of feel big enough on their own stage without having to add something like Money in the Bank specifically to it. So that's kind of why I'm good with it being its own thing, and that's why I do think it makes it feel like a bigger PLE. But I get the arguments either way, and I'm glad that the concept is here. Hopefully they're sticking around. Some interesting reports this week about whether it is or isn't sticking around and whether it's moving around on the WWE calendar in years coming up. So we'll see what happens with that. But as for right now, we're going to be doing predictions for this year's Money in the Bank, which is live Saturday, June 7th in LA from the Intuit Dome. It's going to be streaming on Peacock in the States and then Netflix abroad. But Matty, let's talk one more thing before we get to the Money in the Bank PLE itself, and that is the releases that took place once again this past week in WWE just a couple of days ago. I think people are pretty shocked, and I think you got that out of a lot of the reactions from the crowd on Monday Night Raw, specifically about R-Truth, but for Carlito as well. Carlito had been very, very present as a part of the Judgment Day. Sad that I'm assuming it was his last TV appearance already, and that we're not going to get any sort of payoff with him and Raquel. And then with Truth, it just feels like something more could have been done, and then you're definitely losing arguably your best comedic presence in WWE.
Yeah, I think you just nailed it. It was sudden, and I think that's in this Triple H era of storytelling. We've even seen in the Vince McMahon day, you would necessarily bury a guy before he left. So there was a way of doing things where you kind of advance storylines. With Carlito and Judgment Day, they've been a fixture on our TV for over a year, literally different segments throughout. And then, of course, R-Truth just coming off that big Saturday night's main event match with John Cena for the title. So to me, I think everybody's still kind of in shock with the R-Truth. Maybe we saw it with Carlito kind of coming, but just sudden, man. This is crazy.
So 2 questions there. One, do you think this is reminiscent specifically to the Triple H era, or is it to the TKO ownership that releases are coming like this?
I mean, it doesn't seem like it was planned or organized in a fashion that you would expect from the WWE brand.
Mhm.
A lot of these moves, like people expect it the day after WrestleMania. Thing.
Right.
So this is just sudden. Maybe it is that kind of TKO WWE balance we haven't quite seen yet.
Yeah, and then two, do you feel like it was a little bit of a missed opportunity if they did know that it was coming? Let's just assume that they knew. They said, "Hey, Truth, his contract isn't going to be re-upped." Which, again, to your point, he had the match with Cena, and then he had the segment with Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa and all of that going on SmackDown. But do you not feel like that they could have put a bigger spotlight onto Saturday Night Main Event and said, "Okay, it's for Cena's title and for R-Truth's career"?
Big time difference.
Right.
Big time. But when they didn't even, they kind of glossed over their match at completely. Like it was almost like a misstep, a foregone conclusion. So to me, God, a career match would have made so much more sense.
Yeah, it does feel like it was really just an effort, right, to get to Jey Uso and Cody and then Logan and Cena at Money in the Bank, which is unfortunate. And Ron, R-Truth had the Ron Cena shirt that was made up and that was doing well at WWE Shop and all that. So it's weird to have brand new merch and then all of a sudden, boom, you're out the door.
When
it's
he had so many memorable moments, like he was.
Right.
When it is a wrestling company, those kind of let me up moments, you kind of need that on a product when you're showing 3 hours of TV every Monday night or Tuesday night. So many great, iconic. He got the most out of his bang for buck for when he was on our TV screen.
Do you have a favorite R-Truth moment?
Oh, man, the 24/7 title, 365, 9/11, 4/11, whatever. I mean, dude, just for comedy, he was gold, man.
Yeah, it's the segment where he declares for the Royal Rumble in front of Brock Lesnar, and then Paul Heyman tells him, that it's Brock in the Rumble and not Paul Heyman.
Right.
And then he undeclares for the Royal Rumble, and just breaks Brock. Brock just has no chance and is just laughing his ass off. So that, man, Truth was just so good. And I think he had everybody fighting for the life just every week on TV trying not to break. So.
When even Carlito, what was it, Backlash 2024 in Puerto Rico?
Oh, my God, dude. Yeah.
Oh, the roof exploded when he came out, part of LWO, man. Like, if anything, at least he got a good paycheck. He was funny as shit with Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And just that one moment at Backlash, like, that's memorable.
Yeah, I thought they were kind of forcing Carlito into Judgment Day, but the more it was weird, the more it actually grew and the more it actually worked. So, yeah, I'm going to be bummed to see him back there trying to flirt with Raquel and get in the good graces of everybody there.
Oh, man.
In Judgment Day. All right, let's move on to the actual Money in the Bank card, and we're going to start with the women's Intercontinental title. Lyra Valkyria coming in as the champ against Becky Lynch. So, stipulation here, if Becky wins, Lyra has to raise Becky's hand. If Lyra wins, Becky can no longer challenge while Lyra is the Intercontinental champion. So, a lot of questions to go over here, Maddie, in this feud. This feud has progressively leveled up a little bit, right, as we've seen it go along from the last PLE on working its way up to here at Money in the Bank. And then you have the extra added stipulation, a little extra intrigue, and then it's been just long enough, right, that Bayley is kind of lingering back there in your mind, like, where is her role in all of this? So, what do you make of this match, and how do you feel like it's going to be different, from the one that we just got?
I do like the stipulation added, where it is like this is pretty much Becky's last chance to at least face, Lyra as part of the chapter. So I do think it's that, and I do think Lyra stepped up her game. We were kind of before this feud, we weren't really sure what we had with her, but I think on the mic she's excelled, and in the ring she looks a lot more fluid with Becky. So I think that's been definitely, regardless what happens at the pay-per-view or PLE, this has been a breath of fresh air for her and for us as wrestling fans. With Becky, this is interesting because Lyra's already got two wins against her.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it big time Bex, or what are they doing here? If she loses here, I think it does more harm than help. So to me, I'm kind of in a tough spot with both these girls right now. because you do have Becky, you do have Lyra, both heated rivalry right now. You do have Bailey in the background. So what do you make of this? Like, who wins in this feud with a win or loss?
I do think the stipulation helps and that it's just a different vibe. Like, it's not just about the championship. I think it's almost actually more important to Becky to get her hand raised by somebody that's gotten the better of her than it is necessarily specifically for the Intercontinental title. But I do like that you're pointing out that Lyra feels more fluid in the ring, that she feels like she has a little extra oomph on the mic, right? She even told Becky, shut up. This is my time. You're not talking. I'm going to tell you what's going down right now on Monday Night Raw. And it just feels very different from their first feud. It's one of those things. It's like iron sharpens iron, right? Like, she almost needed Becky to level up a little bit. It wasn't, and this isn't a slight at somebody like an Ivy Nile or that level of like sort of mid card talent, but it just wasn't. Those title defenses for Lyra just were not really putting her on the map. You get somebody like Becky, a returning Becky that has the heel turn. And all of a sudden, we have a completely different amped up version of Lyra. We're getting this very amped up heel version of Becky Lynch. And so I think this feud is actually peaking at the right time. And it's different. I know the last time we both projected that Becky, we thought, was going to go ahead and take the title off of Lyra to end that run. But I think it actually means a little bit something more if she does it now than if she would have the first time.
Yeah. I mean, I think the storyline progression's there. I think question is what happens after this match. I think more or less for either, I could see Bailey costing Becky the title, but I don't know if that necessarily if you do that, then the feud's kind of doesn't mean as much to me. So I think I got to go Becky here. I want her to get this win. I want to see Lyra. I mean, I don't think it hurts Lyra to lose here to big time Bex. I just think there's a rematch coming somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a rematch coming somewhere down the line, and it doesn't even, I guess if we're looking forward to SummerSlam, right? Or even Night of Champions, which I think is in the way of SummerSlam. Is the bigger match, if Becky wins, is the bigger match just her and Lyra for the third installment, or is it Becky and a returning Bailey maybe?
I think a returning Bailey. I think Becky elevates the title, and that's what we're trying to do here is make the mid card and make the women's tag belts just as important as the main title. So to me, yeah, I mean, either way, even if you had a triple threat, there's ways to go forward with a win here for Becky, I think.
Yep, I'm gonna ride your coattails there, and I'm gonna say that Becky Lynch is going to be our new women's Intercontinental champion. John Cena, Logan Paul taking on Cody Rhodes and main event Jey Uso. So you have not only the WWE champion in this match, you have the World Heavyweight champion in this match, and John Cena and Jey Uso. You have a previous world champion in Cody Rhodes, and then you have the up and coming and ever annoying Logan Paul. A lot of dynamics going on here, Maddie. And the first one I kind of want to talk about is I find it so interesting that John has taken on a match with Logan Paul, even though Logan is his partner. Actually, I think it's more of an interesting dynamic that Logan is his partner, because we had the dynamic with Cena and Rock, and there's a whole lot of history there with Logan Paul and The Rock and them not being on the same page any longer. That's very well documented on Logan's podcast. In fact, with the sit down with John Cena. So that's why I find this really, really interesting, kind of almost from a real life perspective as well. And then, you have all the titles going on. You got the history with Cody and John. There's a lot to be going on in this match, and we haven't even talked about Travis Scott. So what is your just initial take on this match? Where do you think it falls on the card? What are we getting out of this as we head into SummerSlam?
Ooh, I think this would be perfect to go right after the men's Money in the Bank match. Like, put this on where the guy with the briefcase kind of passes through, Jey Uso.
Or with both champions.
Yeah, just kind of have them look at each other. Just something there to kind of tell a little bit more story, push the ball down the road a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Can you rewind just a little bit? Your camera froze. I didn't quite get all your point there. But
Yeah, I
guy
just
coming through with Money in the Bank.
yeah, the end of the men's Money in the Bank match. Have this
Yep,
go
yep.
on right after, and just have that kind of transition where they cross pass. And I think it would just kind of add to a moment. Whoever wins that men's match, that these guys are their time's coming up at some point. So I like that idea, just a transition moment there where, the Money in the Bank kind of takes its precedent as the PLE. You kind of get that vibe of why it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm good with I'm good with that concept, and the winner of the men's Money in the Bank kind of either at the top of the ramp or
Right.
maybe circle in the ring, little shark, little blood in the water sort of action going on there, and you got both champs.
Yeah, a
One
little
of
banter,
one,
just
one of
something to,
yeah, one of the champs is maybe going down during the match. Maybe
right.
that's your time to strike.
Yeah. And I think it's just a weird I love the idea of the star-studded tag match. I don't know about the Cena Logan Paul kind of team. It's weird to
Okay.
me. And it just kind of like you're already seeing kind of Logan Paul and Cena kind of not be on the same page. So there's just a lot to unpack. And then it's also you've got Cody Rhodes kind of jumping right back where he left off at WrestleMania, where he's kind of feuding with Cena.
Hmm.
And I get it, but it just seems a little early. I kind of wanted that to kind of be pushed down the road to a later point. What do you think?
Yeah, I did think it would be pushed down to a little bit later of a point, but obviously he went right after Cena there on Saturday Night Main Event. So I guess this is the best way to go about it without directly jumping into a rematch. And then, we're getting all of the interactions still with Gunther as well, who Jey Uso is set to face on Monday Night Raw next week. So he has to get out unscathed essentially from Money in the Bank to be ready to defend against Gunther. Does Gunther make some sort of appearance in this match to try to do damage to Jey before their match on Monday Night Raw? Does that somehow, create tension for whoever won Money in the Bank? There's so many. That's what I'm saying, man. There's so many different dynamics to this match. Is there somebody that comes in and screws with Cody? Is that Travis Scott? Like, who knows, man? I think this match can go a myriad of different ways, and I don't want to say it's the hardest match on the card to predict because we're trying to make a 1-6 prediction on the Money in the Bank. But on a normal card, I could really go either way on this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're almost guaranteed to see Jey Uso get hurt somehow. Like I think that kind of builds that underdog story for the match tomorrow, and just kind of adds another layer to it versus Gunther, just in that underdog role. But yeah, I mean, do you have John Cena pin Cody Rhodes again?
Oh man. So that was my last question. Who takes the pinfall here? Because the obvious answer to me is Logan. But
Right.
it almost seems too obvious.
Yeah. But Cody Rhodes just came back. I mean, does Cena? I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the easy answer is Logan Paul, right?
To me, yes.
I mean, so then are we getting too far into the weeds here? It's just tough too, man. Like it's a layered tag match.
Yeah, I think maybe we don't get too far into the weeds. Maybe it is just straight up the most obvious answer. Logan takes the pin and just defaults my decision to Cody and Jey winning. I don't know how. I don't know who picks up the win, but I think Logan just takes the fall here.
Yeah, I can agree there. I think it's going to be intriguing how Jey survives it, what kind of payback Cody goes. But we already saw kind of the Leafs shake where Cena and Paul were disagreeing. So I'm going to go with the same route. I think Cody Rhodes gets the pin on Paul here.
All right, I'll take it. Let's move into the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, Solo Sikoa, Andrade, and Gracias El Grande Americano, who clinched last night. I was quite surprised that was the closing scene to Monday Night Raw. Well, it was the closing scene to the match, not the end-all be-all closing scene. But man, El Grande Americano going to be pulling, well, supposedly, right, double duty between Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. So I find that incredibly interesting, actually. It's more interesting to me that Grande Americano qualified for that match than either AJ Styles or CM Punk, because I think their story is AJ Styles with Karrion Kross. It's probably already written. CM Punk, his business with Seth Rollins, that story's pretty much already written. And so to me, Matty, if you're looking at who is the next person you're going to make, I think there's an interesting case for Grande Americano. I'm going to be honest.
See, and I think, I don't know about Grande Americano. That's another one. This is another match where there's a couple guys here that could really swerve us, bro. With Grande Americana, I was kind of thinking the same thing with Solo.
Right.
So, I mean, it's like, but to me, the obvious one to me, the one as a fan, I want L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see this going a myriad of ways. I'm going to be honest. I can't see it going Andrade's way. I'm not even sure that he should have. I would have rather seen Carmelo Hayes, just to be quite frank with you. Penta, we said it a number of times. We don't necessarily know that he needs the title. Would I be upset if he won? No, not at all. I love pretty much everything that Penta does. It feels like that Penta can do no wrong. LA Knight, you've built the case for. Seth Rollins, we've said it before that he doesn't necessarily need it, but we heard Sami Zayn tell CM Punk on Monday Night Raw, like, look, if Seth Rollins wins it, he basically has ultimate power and that this place is going to become something that we don't want to see and cannot control. So interesting angle and, kind of reasoning out there for Sami. And then, as you mentioned, Solo Sikoa, who knows what would happen with the briefcase in Solo Sikoa's hands. Would he take the Austin Theory route and try to cash in on Jacob Fatu that way?
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, just another one Seth Rollins looks like he could be the obvious, but I think he has the most going up against him with CM Punk. Or, like I said, we can switch to it real quick and just discuss this. Yeah. The elephant in the room. It's about time. When does Roman Reigns arrive back on TV? Because he has a bone to pick with Rollins, with Reed, and with Breakker and Heyman. So is this the perfect opportunity for Roman Reigns to return?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a trio, right, in Rollins, Breakker, and Bronson Reed, and then you need a trio to face them, whether it's Reigns, Punk, and maybe Sami Zayn. We've kind of thrown that out before. Maybe this is, getting all of that involvement. This will be obviously complete chaos for it to break down this way, but WWE's kind of been delivering on chaos here recently, if we're just being honest about it. So yeah, I could see it, man, and maybe that he is the reason that Seth Rollins ends up not winning this thing. And then if we just go back to everyone else there in the card, you have to make a case for, all right, who are they trying to make? Who are they trying to, have be the next star? Who has the case for a title? And if I'm jumping through some hoops here and I'm trying to tell a story, I remember I told you when El Grande Americano first started, Chad Gable first started this gimmick, that at some point, Gable is such a narcissist that he's going to want to unmask himself and take credit. I can't imagine what he would want to take credit more for than winning a title after he cashes in Money in the Bank.
Dude, I just say, that's just one wasn't on my radar. I didn't see Grande Americana kind of, like we said, I didn't expect him to even be in this match up till yesterday.
I didn't either.
So this is a lot more. It's different, and it could probably work to elevate a guy like Chad Gable, because we all know he has the it factor, and there is the story with the the plate and the mask and everything. So I do like that idea. If it wasn't going to be Rollins, which I think it's just too soon to give him the briefcase, he doesn't need it. I think that's a hell of an argument for Grande Americano if it's not going LA Knight.
I'm going to run with it, man. I'm going to run with it. I'm picking El Grande Americano to win the match.
Yeah. Mad props to Solo, though. He has stepped up his game from a personality standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of on the fence with him, and I think what he's done with Fatu just in the past couple weeks has definitely added to his, at least he's a riser, on the rise. But I'm going to go stick to my guns. It's long overdue that LA Knight gets elevated. Give me LA Knight in this men's Money in the Bank.
All right, let's move on to the final advertised match for Money in the Bank, and that is the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, and Stephanie Vaquer. Apparently, I need more coffee. Stephanie Vaquer solidifying her place last night on Monday Night Raw. Last three women's Money in the Bank winners include Tiffany Stratton, Io Sky, Liv Morgan. The women's Money in the Bank has a 100% cash rate, Maddie. Every woman that has won has cashed in and become champion. So they have a real opportunity here to elevate somebody. And we see all of the young talent just staring us in the face with Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, and Roxanne Perez. This match is absolutely freaking loaded. You got the returning Alexa Bliss. Rhea Ripley has been at the top of the game for quite some time. And then a reinvented Naomi there as well, who had one hell of a freaking promo with Bianca Belair on SmackDown. So what do you like about this match, Maddie? How do you see it going?
I like everything. Like you said, the NXT call-ups. This is a chance for them to be elevated. You have Alexa Bliss kind of coming into her own. Do we see the Wyatt Six kind of join her and cause mischief trouble? We also have Naomi on probably one of the greatest runs of her career.
Agreed.
And then Rhea Ripley, like she's got that superstar potential. We got Women's Evolution around the corner. Her in the main event would be huge as well. So there's endless opportunities to make a star here, whether it's NXT call-ups, Naomi, Bliss, or like we said with Ripley. God, this one's tough, man. I don't think there's a wrong answer in this six-pack of chicks.
I would, man. Yeah. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I would say Rhea Ripley is probably Julia's the least likely.
Right.
I'll just throw that out there. I think Julia is the least likely. I think she's just a tier below and catching up with Roxanne Perez and Stephanie Vaquer right now. And that's not a knock because those women are performing just at an elite level right now. But I think Julia's just got a little bit of catch up to do there. Alexa Bliss could obviously make it entertaining with, as you alluded to, the Wyatt Six. Naomi doing, in my opinion, the best work of her career. And then you saw the reaction to Stephanie Vaquer, man. I mean, it just overwhelming on Raw from the second, the presence that she had, everything that they put into that intro with the pyro, with the music. I mean, looks like $1 million. It's really, really hard to go wrong. And I think this match is maybe going to go down as one of the best women's Money in the Bank, just when you look at it from an athleticism standpoint, from kind of the risk that these women are probably willing to take in this match, the storytellers, the different, types of characters that you have, just from Alexa Bliss being 5 feet of fury, right? She's 5 foot tall. And then you have Rhea Ripley, who is probably pushing, 5'10", 5'11", one of the most powerful women that we've ever seen in WWE, and everything just kind of in between there. So I think it's going to be a highly, highly entertaining match.
So we both kind of agree on the least likely to win was Julia. There's definitely a place for her. I think this is a good chance for her to try to steal the show. So if she can if she puts out a good effort, and you got to remember that there is the U.S. title, there is the IC title.
Yep.
There's rooms to step. We've seen Lyra do it. We've seen other ladies, Chelsea Green. So there's room for Julia to, kind of move up the ranks. But it seems like Roxanne and Stephanie have already arrived. Like they're already put them in the main event. We're ready to roll with them. So that kind of leads us. If Bliss doesn't win this Money in the Bank, is that a missed opportunity?
It's a missed opportunity if it's not in an effort to go back and finish the Wyatt Six storyline. Because if she's gonna win, then I don't really think she needs the Wyatt Six. But if she's also gonna lose, then I think she needs to go back and finish that out some way, somehow.
Okay, so I feel like the one that needs it the most is you'd say Naomi, right?
Needs a strong word. I just personally think Naomi has made the best case for it, just in terms of what she's kind of done since the heel turn. I think there's way more intrigue there. You got Roxanne doing her thing with the Judgment Day. So I think you let that story play out with her and Liv Morgan. I think she's plenty fine. This is not going to hurt Stephanie Vaquer to lose, to not win in this particular situation when it's a chaotic match like this. Bliss going back with the Wyatts, Julia needing to level up. Rhea Ripley has been at the top. That leaves me with Naomi, man. And I think with everything that she did in that promo with Bianca and everything that we've gotten out of her in this heel run, it just feels way more like she's ready to go out there and cause chaos and wreak havoc and to play mind games. And she is the person that I think has level set this year. And so to me, she's the one that deserves it. I think she has reworked her character to the point where she should be in the main event. So I'm going with Naomi.
Yeah. I mean, I could make a case for Bliss, but I also think she's won Money in the Bank if I'm not I'm correct.
Correct.
I think she won and cashed in.
Yep.
So she's had her chance. I think, the NXT girls are just so new still, and I'm loving it. I don't feel like it's needed yet, but yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Naomi's the one to me that sticks out here. Like, I could make a case for Bliss, but Naomi's on a roll, and I think she needs to be a main eventer. She deserves every bit of it.
Yeah, I think she's just got that vindictive heel. I mean, you see what she's doing and posting all the time towards Jade Cargill, towards Bianca Belair, the promos that she's cutting. I think you just have a story there for everybody else that's involved as well. So to me, that's why Naomi could use it, and that's why I'm picking her to win Money in the Bank.
I can dig it, brother.
All right, so we have wrapped up this prediction episode of WWE Money in the Bank WrestleMania. We are on our way, Maddie. Before you know it, Night of Champions. Before you know it, SummerSlam. Train just keeps on rolling, my dude.
Keeps on running, dude. This is a great time of year to kind of just dive into the product. Look at what you got, even on NXT. We just saw the big show up of Mariah May. Big time things happening all across the WWE universe, whether it's releases, Money in the Bank, or NXT. Make sure you check it out. Definitely give us a follow at WrestleMania.
Yeah, we were literally about to jump on for tonight's pod, and I'm like, hey, did you see Mariah May just pop up in NXT? That's just kind of the danger of us doing business here on Tuesday night. But give us a follow on Tuesday nights, Facebook, YouTube, X, at WrestleMania. We are going live. Next week, we are going to have the fallout from Money in the Bank. So hit us up. Let us know what you got, and we will see you next time.